If these puppet politicians want to represent billionaires instead of the people, then they should lose their jobs in the people's house. So they may not want to have the town hall, but we're having it here.
Texas Democratic Congressman Greg Casar joining Bernie Sanders and AOC on their, quote, fighting oligarchy tour in Tucson, Arizona Saturday. The trio railing against President Trump's agenda. Representative Casar joins me now. Welcome, sir.
Thanks so much for having me on.
So you're on tour with Senator Sanders and Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. Will the base basically accept Chuck Schumer staying in leadership?
Look, it's ultimately up to the senators to decide about their leadership. And what is so important is that these 23,000 people that showed up in Arizona want to see a Democratic Party that is willing to stand up and fight against billionaire interests. And I made it really clear that we need to separate the Democratic Party from billionaire interests and fight for working people. Right now, I see a Republican Party that is unfortunately really dominated by those billionaire interests right now, where you have Elon Musk calling Social Security a Ponzi scheme, saying that they'll eliminate billions of dollars from Social Security. Look, I'm the chairman of the Progressive Caucus in Congress. I recognize some of the viewers at home disagree with me on a variety of social issues, but I think we can agree that Republican members of Congress have no business going along with Elon Musk slashing Social Security, destroying Medicaid and Medicare, firing veterans, all to give out tax breaks to billionaires. That's the message that Bernie Sanders has been consistent about, and I believe that should be the new message of the Democratic Party, which I think could bring some conservatives back into the Democratic Party if we agree that these programs we all pay for since literally World War II, Social Security, should be expanded and protected, not ransacked by billionaires that want more money for themselves. You should work to be able to keep your money, not to make Elon Musk richer. You should be paying taxes to improve your life, not to make some billionaire buy their 10th jet.
To be fair, I don't think many of your Republican colleagues have any interest in touching Social Security, but I want to keep moving on here. Your colleague Ro Khanna.
But to be fair, President Trump and Elon Musk just announced that they are closing Social Security offices and going to ask seniors and people with disabilities to go check in person at Social Security offices that they've closed. And in rural areas or really suburban areas, that may be really hard to do. And then they'll call those Social Security recipients, quote, fraudsters, and cut off their benefits. That's what they've announced. And Commerce Secretary, who's a billionaire himself, just said on television, oh, if my grandma misses a Social Security check, I think he said my mother-in-law misses a Social Security check, she won't complain. Well,
but you're on the DOJ subcommittee, though, right? So you're on the DOJ subcommittee. So what they're trying to do is cut waste, fraud, and abuse. So I think they want to make sure the checks are going to real people.
The checks absolutely should be going to real people. And we should be looking at actual waste, fraud, and abuse, like the billions of dollars that big pharma milks off of the taxpayer by overcharging us for pharmaceuticals, like the way that big tech overcharges the taxpayer every day, like the billions of dollars in contracts that Elon Musk gets himself. Look, viewers at home may not know, Elon Musk makes $8 million a day from the federal government. Why are they looking at cutting Medicaid, which serves single moms, people with disabilities, or Social Security, instead of looking at the billions of dollars from the corporate class? It's because those corporations fund those Republican campaigns. I think that what's important for folks to know at home, again, even if you may disagree with me on this social issue or that one, is that every Republican member of Congress right now is looking to cut Medicaid.
To be clear,
over
though,
70% of Republican voters are opposed to Medicaid cuts, but the senator from Nebraska, North Dakota, you just had on, is talking about passing a bill next week to slash Medicaid by over $800 million. I mean, how is that right? How is that representing the working class person in rural America? I don't get it.
Well, to be clear, you cited a number that Elon Musk is making every day. That's not from his government salary, to be clear. I mean, that may be
that's federal contracts.
Related to federal contracts. To be clear about that, do you condemn violence against Tesla owners and Tesla dealerships?
Of course, violence is dangerous and wrong, and those who commit it should be held accountable. And there are millions of Americans right now speaking out against their health care being taken away, speaking out against money being taken away from their taxpayer pockets and being handed out in federal contracts. So we should be having the conversation about how is it that Elon Musk, who makes $8 million a day from federal contracts, as you just said,
Okay.
why is he looking for even more contracts? It was just reported he's trying to land a contract with the FAA so that he can get billions of dollars for Starlink out of that. He was trying to land a huge contract with the State Department until he got caught by the press. We should agree, whether you're a Democratic or a Republican president, you shouldn't be allowed to appoint a billionaire to the government and then for him to look for billions of dollars in contracts for himself. That's corruption at its finest, and we need a Republican Party and a Democratic Party that's willing to speak out against that kind of corruption.
Well, clearly President Trump thinks Elon Musk brings a whole lot to the table, being such a wildly successful businessman.
Well, I mean, he brought hundreds of millions of dollars to his campaign.
Congressman Greg Casar, the great state of Texas, thank you very much for your time today.
Thanks so much, and I appreciate your viewers for listening.